What up, world? So I saw Hot Tub Time Machine 2. It's the sequel to the 2010 comedy Hot Tub Time Machine, obviously. It stars Rob Corddry, Craig Robinson, Clark Duke, what's his name? Adam Scott, and Chevy Chase. It's directed by Steve Pink, who don't don't hold me to the grindstone or whatever, but I think he directed Grosse Point Blank. He directed Hot Tub Time Machine, and he directed About Last Night with Kevin Hart that came out last year. You got the cast from the first movie, except John Cusack, who they don't just brush off that he's not in it. They mention him, his character, and basically give like little bullshit like plot holes or loopholes basically why he's not in the movie. Which little side note, he says, from what I understand, that he wasn't even approached to be in the movie, and then there's conflicting reports that he turned it down. So I'm a little curious what happened as to why John Cusack really isn't in the movie. You got Rob Corddry's character who's rich as fuck because he basically stole like all the best ideas and made himself rich off of that shit. Um, the band Motley Crue, Google, just to name a couple that were mentioned in the first movie. And then you got Craig Robinson's character, who's like the most successful recording artist, musician, singer in the world because he'll just whatever songs were popular in between the time they found the time machine and now that he's stolen the song from the original artist without the original artist even knowing about the shit. But his conscience is just eating away at him, and he's just uneasy about doing this shit. You got Clark Duke's character who doesn't completely feel like he fits into what's going on. Something happens. It's in the trailer. I mean, if you've seen the trailer, you know why they have to get in the time machine again. And something that bugs me out is, I don't know, maybe they had an invention, maybe they created this shit, but what they used to go back in time in the first movie and what they use to time travel in this movie, it's just not the same. And they don't mention the elements of what they had in the first movie, which threw me off. Like, the story is cool, man. I thought the story was really good. Something happens. They have to go back. They have to get in the time machine. They don't end up where they have to end up, and they have to figure out who is responsible for doing what occurred to lead them to time travel in this movie in the first place. So like the story was real interesting. It's just not funny, man. This is a movie prime that all the laughs are in the trailer because the nerd song, like Clark Duke's character, he'll mention that show Fringe, and then Craig Robinson and Rob Corddry, they'll just start singing, "You're a nerd, you're a fucking nerd, and no one likes you," and that shit is hilarious. Just all like the Revolutionary War shit. It's it's not as important to the movie as you think it's gonna be. But like the rest of the movie, man, like the laughs just don't work. Like it has its moments. I'm not gonna say it's Mordecai and just completely falls flat on its face. Nah, is this shit is Dumb and Dumber, Ace Ventura, Liar Liar. This shit is Anchorman compared to Mordecai. You John Cusack, man, the chemistry with the original cast was perfect. And while I like Adam Scott in what I've seen him in, man, like the little couple of episodes I've seen of Parks and Recreation, he was hilarious in Step Brothers. I don't feel like he fit with Rob Corddry, Clark Duke, or Craig Robinson. Like I don't feel like he had the chemistry that John Cusack had with them. Um, and like he has his moments in this movie, but just as a unit, man, I just don't think the four of them worked like Steve Pink wanted them to. And then like Chevy Chase, his character in this movie, he's only in like one scene, and like he would pop in. Like I have to compare it to the first movie, man, because that's the bar. Like Chevy Chase popped in and out of like 3 different scenes to help them get back home, basically, like help them get back where they needed to be and help them make it through the past. And in this one, man, he's in like one scene. Like I feel like Chevy Chase was heavily underused. And overall, what I feel like worked for the first movie was the past. The past was already established, man. So you had Michael Jackson, you had Where's the Beef, you had what you say, that the douchebag from Karate Kid 3. Like you had all this to work off of and build your jokes off of. And I don't know if the writers are different in this movie, but creating the future and creating your own world. So creating all the smart cars, all the jokes, all the technology. It didn't work, man. Cause I mean you're creating the entire world. So I don't know. They made like some a cool future, but it turned into like shitty dialogue and just dialogue that didn't work. How the dialogue and the jokes were witty and worked in the first movie weren't witty and didn't work in the sequel. So I mean, as much as it pains me to say it, man, like it was a good movie, but it wasn't funny. Like it really pains the shit out of me to do this, man, because I really wanted to love this movie, but like just for the lack, like good story, but for the lack of laughs, I have to say, in my opinion, man, Hot Tub Time Machine 2 is straight. It just it's just not shit. Like I think when I did my Dumb and Dumber 2 review, I told y'all not to compare it to the first movie. And man, that's because it was a 20-year gap in between the first and second movie, man. But Hot Tub Time Machine came out in 2010. Hot Tub Time Machine 2 comes out 2015. So like there's a little more, like the cast is still familiar, same director, um, but it just didn't work this time around, man. I don't know how else to put it. Like it is what it is, man. It's just a comedy that isn't that funny. Like I didn't laugh a lot. My wife didn't laugh a lot. But there was a dude 2 rows up who was like obnoxiously loudly laughing like he was at home all by himself. So man, people can find like a gang of humor in this motherfucker. Um, did you like Hot Tub Time Machine 2? Did you like it better than the first one? I mean, I'm sure there's people out there that did like this one better than the first one. I think down the road, the first one can eventually be a comedy classic. Just talk to me about your favorite time travel movies, man. Um, Looper, the Terminator series, the Back to the Future series, whatever your favorites are, man. Um, Next week I want to see Focus with Will Smith. Then the first weekend in March, I want to see Chappie, and I want to see Unfinished Business with Vince Vaughn. Um, like, subscribe, comment. Check out my other non-movie related videos if you want. Um, get at me where I be at, man. Peace.